Hey, good morning. It is Fritzy Berg, and I'm just happy to see you. Glad that you could join me this morning. I was thinking this morning when I woke up that I had this kind of weird feeling. I guess it could be called malaise. I have a lot of things that can keep me busy, but this morning I woke up and there was nothing on my calendar, and I looked around and I thought, I don't want to watch TV. That's very dangerous if you get started doing that. And I just felt a little despondent, and I was thinking about what a trick of nature it is that when we're younger and our kids are little, I had 3, and how busy that makes you. And in addition, I was a school teacher, so my evenings were making sure there was laundry done and papers were graded, and the kids had food for lunch and breakfast, and then the mornings were very chaotic. The kids were close in age, but they went to 3 different schools. So backpacks, lunches, all that had to be done. And then I would teach all day. After school, they had activities. They had football, they had basketball, they had soccer, they had gymnastics. And so it was really tricky to make sure that you had the oranges for the snack at the soccer game. And, you were just exhausted all the time. Then your kids grow up. Hopefully they are happily off on their own and doing their own little time of mother and fatherhood. But then that leaves us, grandmas and grandpas, in a new place. Now, there are a lot of people who love that, and they fill their time with all of these activities, and they run marathons and do bodybuilding, whatever. I'm just not like that. I really like being at home, and I do still substitute teach sometimes, but basically I'm not a joiner. So if you're like me, maybe you can sympathize with that. But this morning when I woke up, I decided that I was going to organize my picture albums. And so I got one out and started looking through it. And I saw this picture that reminded me of that I've always been forgetful. Sometimes when I'm really forgetful, I think, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get dementia. Oh no, please don't let me have dementia. I just don't want to have that. Anything but that. But then I remember, I've always been forgetful. And just briefly, there was the time I lost my purse and found it later in the freezer because I had been putting the groceries away and just forgetfully, put my purse in the freezer. And then my kids had a big laugh and told me that I must have been freezing my assets, or what was the other one? Oh, hey Mom, now you've got some cold hard cash. So anyway, putting that aside, I was thinking about the time that I was super forgetful in a way that could have been scary had I not been fairly young. But we had auctioned off a dinner for 8 at school for a fundraiser. So my sister and I were going to do dinner for 8. We were going to have chicken and pineapple salsa. And then for fun afterwards, we were going to do a casino. So I had bought a card shuffler, and my sister and my friend were preparing the food, the pineapple salsa to be exact. So I've been told this, although I don't remember it, that in the midst of making my card shuffler, I stood up, walked over into the kitchen, scooted her out of the way, picked up the chopped up pineapple on the cutting board, and just moved it over to the other side of the sink, and then went back to fixing my card shuffler. So I think they had a little snicker about it, but then they said, Fritzy, why did you just move the pineapple? And I went, I didn't. They went, no, you did. I said, I don't remember that. And then we all had a big laugh. Well, that's still a family legend. You know, when they want to describe me, they bring up the pineapple salsa story. So, anyway, do you have any times when you've been super forgetful? Have you done something really dumb that people were kind of worrying about you? Well, I'm just here today to say there's a big difference between being forgetful and having dementia. Like, I left my car running in the parking lot the other day when I went to work. You know, I substitute teach. It's not work. It's retired work. But, you know, I pull in the parking lot, get out, gather my things, go inside, and then the announcement comes like hours later, not just a little bit later. Like the police came through the parking lot, saw a car running, came into school. They made an announcement. I realized that must be my car. I have to go meet the police, walk out, prove it's my car, and admit that for hours I've left the car running. Who does that? Well, it is not dementia. I don't want you worrying. I want you to have fun today. Think of something good to do. It can be anything. Okay? Write a story. Think of something that you've done. Share it with me. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. We're going to have great days.